Anderson with a pass to Mike Krushelnyski. Hospodar knocks that down, and then he and Krushelnyski collide heavily. To Derek Smith, number 24. He's ridden out in the corner by Gregg, and then hammered down by Jackson on a very tough check. Windstrom centered. Marsh is there to knock it away. Now Poulin jammed up in the corner. In comes Marsh to help out. 2 Oilers and 2 Flyers. And you know what that means. One of them is Hunter, by the way. And the sticks and the pushing and shoving takes the tone of this game right here. Now McClellan is into it with Hospodar.
I was just going to say, look for those two to kind of go at it a few times tonight. Ed Hospodar laid out a pretty good check to see how it did start. There you could see Hunter came in and he had his elbows up, and Marsh didn't take too kindly to that. So Marsh just continued to do some pushing and shoving, and as a result, Hunter and Marsh both go off. 2 minutes for roughing. 9:22 is the time.
And there you see Sinisalo going into the Flyer locker room.
It may have been a shoulder injury that Sinisalo received when Mark Messier just leveled him here. And when Mark Messier hits you, it hurts. See Marsh taking McClellan in along the boards and just continues to hold him. Now watch that stick. It missed Marsh, but not by much. And then, of course, Joe Patterson came right into Marsh's aid. Joe Patterson, a pretty tough, rugged winger himself for the Philadelphia Flyers.
Penalty coming up here. And it's going to be against Tikkanen, and then Tocchet trying to get at Tikkanen. And we have a melee just outside the Edmonton blue line. Meanwhile, the penalty has been called against the Oilers rookie, the 19-year-old Esa Tikkanen.
Well, we told you before the game that Esa Tikkanen was a fairly rugged young player. Interesting that Tikkanen, he's getting married in a couple of weeks, Dan, and he's marrying a Swedish girl who cannot speak Finnish. He can't speak Swedish, but they can both speak English, so they can at least communicate. He's doing a little communicating right on the ice right now, I believe, to number 22, Philadelphia Flyers, Rick Tocchet. And let's take a look at how all of this got started. As you can see, John D'Amico having a little bit of difficulty getting Tocchet into the penalty box. Let's watch Tikkanen, number 14. He takes a pretty good two-hander there to Tocchet, and that's what obviously got Tocchet riled up. I think Tikkanen's experience playing in the Western Junior League taught him that utilizing that stick. We'll keep you informed if we hear any more on Ilkka Sinisalo's condition.
Flyers are very secretive, we might add, about their injury. Now we have a scrap going back at center ice. Tim Kerr and Hunter of Edmonton.
The concern here for Tim Kerr would be the fact that, let's remember, he has got an injured knee. He's wearing a brace on it, and this type of action is not necessarily good for his knee by any stretch of the imagination. When you're skating backwards, forwards, that's one thing in maneuvering, but now trying to fight against Dave Hunter and really jamming that knee to some extent back and forth and sideways to be a pretty good test for Tim Kerr's knee condition.
And finally, the linesmen pry those two apart, and we'll get penalties. Number 12 for the Oilers is Dave Hunter, and number 12 for the Flyers is Tim Kerr. And he held on to it.
And meanwhile, Brad Marsh right in front of the net, doing his job, making sure that no Oiler was about to take a second whack at that puck, even though Pelle Lindbergh had it well tied up. Big Mike Krushelnyski, number 26, standing his ground in front, but that was number 17, Ed Hospodar, that John D'Amico is having some words with right now. I think D'Amico wants to make sure that he keeps this man intact. Ed Hospodar can get riled up pretty easy.
Hospodar came over to Philadelphia this year, signed as a free agent, and there you see him bumping with McClellan. And now the Oilers led by Hunter. Drop pass to McClellan, shot right on. Lindbergh made the save. And now an injured Oiler, Kevin McClellan, down on the ice.
And I think that was Ed Hospodar that ran into McClellan. He may not know which city he is in right now. The trainer for the Oilers rushed out there very quickly. I think asking him his name, his telephone number, and a bunch of other vital statistics. Let's watch and see how that collision occurred. I think it was Hospodar that ran into Kevin McClellan and ran him pretty good. That has been an ongoing battle between those two players. Ed Hospodar, having gone off for a rest. A big hit like Hospodar's just continues the momentum for the Philadelphia Flyers.
Puck shot in. Flyers. Kerr knocked down by Lindstrom on the far side. Now McClellan getting his stick up with one of the Flyers.
We can only guess that it might be Hospodar, is it? Just the way that he went at it.
Number 17, Hospodar.
I think Kevin McClellan feels that he owes Hospodar one.
The score, Edmonton 2, Philadelphia 1. 11 minutes remaining in regulation time. We'll be right back. Has it stolen, and here's a chance for Glenn Anderson. But Marsh recovered and broke it up, and then Lindbergh was able to cover up. And then Lindbergh reacted to Glenn Anderson with the way he tried to poke at the puck.
Lindbergh had that puck underneath of his glove and didn't take too kindly to the fact that Glenn Anderson really tried to push that puck right in the net, and his glove with it.
And the Stanley Cup final is tied at 1 game apiece.